You're scraping Shopee from a US residential proxy. You wonder why your block rate is so high. The answer isn't your code, it's the geographical mismatch between your exit IP and the platform you're targeting. This video walks through why Singapore mobile IPs outperform US residential for Southeast Asia work. Dalzay as Shopee, Lazada, Gojek, Tokopedia, Grab, DBS Digital Banking, and TikTok for C markets all run trust models that weight IP geography heavily. A US residential IP hitting a Singapore Shopee endpoint generates a different risk score than a Singapore mobile IP hitting the same endpoint. This video is for scrapers, operators, and multi-account users targeting Southeast Asia who haven't thought through the geography yet. The otherwise 3 sections: fact, why IP geography is a stronger trust signal than the marketing implies, how mobile carrier IPs differ from residential ISP IPs at the ASN level, and the 4 Southeast Asian platforms where the geographic match matters most. What platforms actually do with IP geography. When a Singapore registered account on Shopee logs in from a US residential IP, that's an immediate anomaly signal. The platform doesn't ban on the first such event. It elevates the session's risk score, watches for additional anomalies, and gates more aggressive actions like checkout, payment changes, or rapid product browsing. The practical effect is that workflows succeed half the time and fail the other half with no clear pattern. The fix isn't a better proxy provider, it's a proxy with the right geography. If the account is registered in Singapore, the connecting IP needs to be in Singapore, ideally on a real local carrier. That's the structural argument for Singapore mobile IPs on Southeast Asian workloads. Mobile carrier IPs at the ASN level. Residential IPs come from broadband ISPs. The ASN for a residential IP identifies the home internet provider. For us residential, that's Comcast, Charter, Verizon Fios, AT&T. These ASNs light up clearly on platform-side data as us home internet users. Mobile carrier IPs come from telcos. Singtel AS95Tau6, StarHub AS4657, M1 AS180 AO81, Vivify AS137371. These ASNs identify mobile network operators serving subscribers on real cellular plans. When a session connects from one of these, the platform sees a mobile data user, not a broadband home user. For mobile-first platforms, this is the better fingerprint. The Guave Camel property, mobile carriers run carrier-grade NATL. Multiple subscribers share each public IP. That means a Singapore mobile IP is shared with hundreds of real Singaporean subscribers using their phones. You can't blanket block these IPs without affecting real customers. Residential IPs don't have this property because each home gets its own static or semi-static address. Blocking a residential IP affects one household. Blocking a mobile carrier IP affects hundreds of customers. That asymmetry is why mobile IPs survive block lists longer. For White specifically, Shopee runs region-specific marketplaces. Shopee Singapore, Shopee Indonesia, Shopee Malaysia, Shopee Philippines, Shopee Thailand, Shopee Vietnam, Shopee Taiwan. Each one treats accounts as region-locked. A Shopee Singapore seller account logging in from a US IP is an immediate red flag. From a Singapore mobile IP, the same login is normal. For sellers, scrapers, and price comparison operators targeting Shopee, the geography match is the difference between a working account and a locked one. Lazada. Similar story, Lazada is Alibaba's Southeast Asian arm. Region-specific marketplaces for Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam. Account trust is geo-anchored. Login geography matters. For C operators running Lazada accounts, Singapore mobile IPs outperform any other source. Your TikTok for C targets. TikTok's algorithm serves region-specific content. TikTok ads in the C region pricing tier are different from us pricing. TikTok Shop is rolled out across C markets in stages. Creator accounts and seller accounts both have geographic anchors. Singapore mobile IPs give you TikTok content as a Singaporean user sees it, with the local pricing, the local ad library, the local creator partnerships. US residential proxies push you into the US context. For C work, that's the wrong context. With Yogake, Grab, and Tokopedia. These are local apps that run their own risk models and IP geography anchors. An account on any of these registered with a Singapore or Indonesia mobile number, but connecting from a US IP generates anomaly signals immediately. For anyone doing C fintech research, ride-hailing analysis, or local marketplace operations, the geographical match is the price of entry. Latency. Singapore to Bangkok is roughly 30 milliseconds round trip. Singapore to Kuala Lumpur is around 50 milliseconds. Singapore to Jakarta is around 40 milliseconds. Singapore to Manila is around 50 milliseconds. These are short fiber hops. A Singapore mobile IP making API calls to a Kuala Lumpur backend feels local because it structurally is. A US residential IP making the same call adds 200 plus milliseconds of round trip on every request. For any latency sensitive scraping or automation, the Singapore origin is materially better. Pokostat. A US residential proxies are widely available and competitively priced because the market is mature and saturated. Singapore mobile proxies are a narrower market with fewer providers. Our pricing reflects the carrier-grade infrastructure under it. On a per GB basis, Singapore mobile is more expensive than US residential. On a per successful operation basis, the math often inverts because the success rate is so much higher when geography matches. If your target is a US platform, OWASP Residential is the right answer. Amazon US, eBay US, Craigslist, OWASP specific back arts work, OWASP TikTok creator analysis. Anything where the target system expects us users trying to access us Amazon from a Singapore mobile IP generates the same anomaly signals in reverse. Match the geography to the workload, not the other way around. You know what you actually get from SMP. You choose your carrier mix when you set up. Singtel for broad reputation, StarHub for residential heavy paths, M1 for diversity, Vivify for additional IP range coverage. Each port runs on one carrier SIM, gets a stable mobile IP and supports per port rotation through the proof-to-smatch rotate endpoint when you need a fresh IP. Plans start at affordable monthly rates depending on bandwidth tier. The jurisdictional layer. Singapore has stable regulatory framework, no internet shutdowns, and zero history of blocking other countries' inbound traffic. You're not depending on a country that might decide to throttle a specific industry next quarter. That stability is worth pricing in for any operation that needs to plan more than 30 days ahead. If you're running C-targeted scraping, multi-account work, or ad library analysis, Singapore mobile IPs are the geographic match. SingaporeMobileProxy.com gets you a port on a real Singtel, StarHub, M1, or Vivify SIM within minutes of sign-up. Trial accounts are free, paid plans start at affordable monthly rates. Use code YT30 for 30% off your first month. Trial first, see if it fits your workload, then commit. Next video compares the 3 Singapore carriers head-to-head, so you can pick the right one for your specific workload.